I've come here to Cyprus to talk about one of the worst biodiversity crimes in Europe, the slaughter every year of hundreds of thousands of songbirds in a very cruel way. They're killed to create a speciality dish. Organised crime is now involved. I'm going to talk to Tassos Chialis of BirdLife Cyprus about why this culture has evolved and what can be done to stop it.
Every year in the autumn we have the main trapping season. So the last autumn season of 2024, we estimated between 700,000 to 800,000 birds were killed. It varies. You have what we call the big organized trappers. They tend to be in organized trapping groups. Then you have the small trappers, but pretty much is locals that they are doing it either for personal consumption or family consumption or to sell them. And the problem is the fact that there is a demand there. The selling price for a dozen of these birds can go up to 100, 150 euros per dozen. Bird trapping with the traditional way, as it's called, with the lime sticks, historical records go back to the Middle Ages and even before that. But as this lifestyle and the way of living changed in the 70s, 80s from a rural setting to a more urban setting, people that used to trap in the past, they still want to consume them, but now they are living in the cities. That has created for people still living in the villages that they still want to carry that driver of a supply and demand that skyrocketed basically all this illegal trade. I mean, the competent authority, the Game and Fauna Service, estimates the whole illegal bird trapping trade to be of the order of 10 million euros per year. Firstly, there is no real political will to crack it down, and also is socially acceptable. So these two factors basically have made it difficult to eradicate the problem. Our field teams have many times been face to face with these more serious trappers. They've been threatened. Game wardens have had their cars bombed. Even some of people's houses have been burned because there's a lot of money to be made. I mean, the organized trapper would be making easily thousands of euros per year illegally. So they will do everything to safeguard that illegal profit they're making.
Antaia Christou now works alongside Tassos at BirdLife Cyprus. She used to be with the Committee Against Bird Slaughter, CABS, where she worked as a front-line monitor and experienced some of this intimidation.
Let's say this smallest, which is just a confrontation, people shouting at you, telling you to get out, swearing at you, threatening you. Then there is the next level, which is people actually following up on these threats. So beating up people, stealing our equipment, breaking our equipment, which holds the evidence, of course, for the crimes. Smashing the windows of the cars, scratching the cars, shooting towards the cars, and yeah. Usually how it goes is that the criminals are afraid of the law, but in this case it's somehow the other way around. The volunteers and the people who are working to combat this are the ones who are most of the time scared and intimidated by the criminals, because they know they're kind of above the law. At least some of them are, for sure.
I mean, BirdLife Cyprus has the longest running campaign probably worldwide on a wildlife crime issue, so illegal bird trapping in our case. Our campaign has been running since 2002. We started with the field monitoring so that we could get an idea of the trapping levels and whether they are going up or down. So that's one pillar of our campaign. field monitoring. The second pillar is, of course, advocacy and lobbying, submitting position papers, meeting ministers, all that element as well. The third and the biggest element of the campaign now is the awareness raising and the outreach to schools. So we are doing all that because we've realized just by doing only one thing, enforcement will not solve the problem. And the biggest issue is to change the norm, to basically make people understand that this is not socially acceptable anymore. It should not be the norm. And if we manage to change that, the attitude, then the demand will not be there anymore. A mist net is basically a fine mesh net. Think of a fishing net, but instead of being in the sea, it's erected between two poles. Pretty much like in this olive grove here, you would have your two nets, 12 meter, 50 meter, 20 meter long, 4 to 6 meters high. And because it's so fine, the birds will not see it, and essentially they fly into it and get trapped. And then the trapper comes around and usually kills the bird either with a cut on the throat with a small knife or a toothpick. I've even seen people biting the birds to their neck. We have identified and found at least 158 bird species trapped on lime sticks or in mist nets. In Cyprus, we have roughly about 400 bird species. So almost half of those bird species you would see in Cyprus, they are affected by this single threat, illegal bird trapping. Many of those 158 bird species, at least 90, they also have a declining population status. So we're talking about birds that they are already, some of them, in declining mode. And of course, we're not only talking about Cyprus birds, we are talking that the biggest impact is on migratory songbirds. So it's not just our birds we are impacting, we are also impacting birds that are a common heritage to other countries. I mean, they serve a lot of ecosystem services. They are pollinators, they are seed dispersers, they carry out pest control of insects and rodents, they do nutrient recycling, and also their poo is a perfect fertilizer. And some of them also are scavengers. So vultures and crows, they would be actually consuming dead birds and dead animals, which if you live outside in the countryside, they could spread diseases. Gives me hope because in recent years, we've actually seen a massive decrease in bird trapping. So 5-6 years ago, the scale was much bigger. It was more than 2 million birds. So within 5-6 years, we've seen a drop of to 700,000 birds, which is still a lot and is not sustainable to continue with these numbers, of course. So that gives me hope that if there is the real political will, things can change. And I've also seen through our awareness raising and our educational outreach that we are actually starting to make an impact on the younger generations bit by bit. One of our latest intervention strategies and actions is setting up a nature reserve in the middle of a trapping hotspot in Cyprus, hoping to avoid the next generation of trappers by speaking to the school children and making them appreciate nature and birds rather than wanting to trap them and consume them.